Aleluya, aleluya, aleluya. Aleluya, aleluya, aleluya.
Blessed are you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth. You have revealed to little ones the mysteries of the kingdom.
Aleluya, aleluya, aleluya. Aleluya, aleluya, aleluya.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up the mountain, and after he had sat down, his disciples came to him. He began to teach them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the land. Blessed are they who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the clean of heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are they who are persecuted for the sake of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when they insult you and persecute you, and utter every kind of evil against you falsely because of me. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward will be great in heaven." The Gospel of the Lord.
Before I begin, you're allowed to take pictures, but I charge $1,000 a picture, okay? I'll give you a discount, $9.99, since it's St. Pius. We gather as a community, we gather as a diocese, not only here in El Paso, but all over the nation, and especially in New Haven, Connecticut. We gather all over the world, even in our sister city in Juarez. I hope that our knights are gathering to do everything they've been going through these last few days of violence as well. To honor our founder of the Order, the Knights of Columbus, Father Michael J. McGivney. And I'm honored even more because I started this 5 years ago, and we gather on the 5th year to honor this great man for us here in our community. A man who came to show support to his community, support to his family. And for those of you who don't really know Michael McGivney, his story, I recommend, if you enjoy reading, a book called Parish Priest, Father Michael McGivney and American Catholicism. It's an easy read. I've already read it 3 times. I wanted to read it again before this celebration, but I only got to about page 50, so I'll finish it again after this celebration. But this book speaks of the life and the reason Father McGivney founded the Knights of Columbus. And all of us here gathered as knights, as wives, as families, are trying to live the ideals of Father McGivney, of fraternity, charity, unity, and of course, of patriotism as well. Trying to live that in our parishes, trying to live that in our families. And most of us may not know this, but Father McGivney founded the Knights of Columbus to provide insurance for his community. Those women and children who lost the breadwinner, their spouse, during the time of Father McGivney in the late 1800s, if the wife was not able to support her family, the children were taken away and they were put into that, at that time, the system of foster care. So families were being destroyed. And the same happened to Father McGivney's family as well. So this was a way for the Knights to fundraise, to support those families that when someone did die, that they were able to help in a small little way so that family can stay united, that family can stay together. And we still fulfill that idea of Father McGivney as well. And we have many programs that the Knights have developed over the years to help us to continue those ideals of Father McGivney. But in this year's celebration, I want to focus on that idea of vocations. Because it was not only Father McGivney, but also his two younger brothers who entered priesthood as well. And for Father McGivney in his priesthood, it was a struggle for him to study in seminary. He had to leave home originally to go to Canada to study for priesthood. And during his time in his studies is when his father passed away. He had to leave his studies to go and to support his family. And a few years after supporting his family, it was encouraged in him again to return to seminary. So he went and studied in Baltimore, Maryland, where he finished his studies at St. Mary's. And I guess I have a connection to Father McGivney because I have my STB, not related to the STD, but a different STD in that as well. I received my bachelor's of sacred theology, which is a degree recognized by Rome that was given to me from St. Mary's Seminary and University in Baltimore. Though I never stepped on campus, I received that while I was in my studies in Houston. And to just have that degree mounted on my wall, St. Mary's, and to see that connection to Father McGivney, to the Knights, it's a very special feeling for me. But I understand those struggles of vocation. All of you know that I'm from El Paso. I went to the best high school in town, Jefferson High School. Sorry, Ruben. My home parish is Our Lady of the Light. That's the only parish I knew growing up. I was baptized there, received all of my sacraments there. My grandmother was very active in the women's club. My parents were married there as well. My sister, all of the family. That's been our home. And even the Knights at that council were active in my life as well. And the new elementary middle school that they opened for Tinajero, the wife, I met her husband who was a Knight at that council as well. Those Knights helped my vocation. That parish helped my vocation. How can we, as families, as Knights, promote vocations within us? Because a lot of people think that priests, sisters at the diocese has a greenhouse, that they go, I need 5 priests, they take out 5 seeds, they plant it, they water it, they see it grow, and all of a sudden we have 5 new priests for the diocese. If it was like that, we would have 1 million priests tomorrow. But priests come, religious sisters come from our families. I'm the oldest of 2. I have a younger sister, so it was a struggle for my dad because he knew that that family line would end with me. But over the years, he understood that my family blood, yes, will end, but he's gotten to experience my extended family in the parishes that I go to. And when I speak to mothers about vocation, about priesthood, they tell me, Father, I want my son to become a priest, but I want grandchildren as well. And I'm like, you can only choose one of those. You can't have both. But how can the ideals of Father McGivney with vocation still live within us? And I'll give you an example. Last month, the middle of July, I was here celebrating Mass because on Sunday I was going to take vacation and take my nephew finally to Disneyland, which I promised him a few years ago. And after we went to vacation, unfortunately, I started feeling a few symptoms from COVID, and I got COVID a few weeks ago. And the struggle for me was that it happened on Saturday when I became positive. On Sunday, I was not able to celebrate Mass with my community. I celebrated Mass privately, but that's not the same. I had to call an individual within the community of Van Horn and Blanca to lead a liturgy of the word for the community so they can receive communion in that way as well. I tried several other priests to help, but we're all very busy, and especially on a Sunday. We need vocations for when those moments do happen. How can we pray for them in our councils, but more importantly, how can we pray for vocations within our own families? Yes, it's a sacrifice to send your son to seminary. And I remember the struggles my mother went through when I was in my studies. We would always talk every Saturday evening after I finished my prayers on the phone, and then we would do FaceTime because my nephew wanted to see me. And once I was ordained a priest and I was here at St. Pius, after Masses I would go with them to have lunch or dinner. I would come back, and my mom would still call me in the evenings, though I saw her an hour ago. It took her a while to adjust to the fact that I was finally back in town. But she's thankful for this ministry. She's thankful for my priesthood. She's just thankful that I'm able to do what I want to do. How can we as Knights continue that legacy of Father Michael McGivney through our acts of charity, through our acts of unity, through our acts of fraternity? But more importantly, how can we promote those vocations? Because without priests, we know we don't have the sacraments. And I know Father Sergio, Father Wilbert, Father Beto, and I would like to take a year vacation, but we know that's a little impossible because of the work that we have. Even taking our day offs is a struggle because we don't have that extra help to help us as well. To continue this ministry, priests need to come from our families, from our communities, from our homes. How can we pray that the Lord can inspire others to not only become Knights of Columbus, but also to follow the legacy of Father Michael McGivney in ministry as well? All of us here present have joined the Knights because we saw something special in Father McGivney and his support to others. How can we do better and in our parishes to help others? But more importantly, how can we pray for more leaders in the church? How can we pray for more men to follow the example of my Father Michael McGivney into ministry, so that 100 years from now, or however long the Lord keeps us on this earth, His sacraments could be celebrated, and we can have leaders to continue to guide the Knights in the great work that we do. How can we continue from this day forward to pray for priests, so that the ministry of not only Father McGivney, but the ministry of Jesus may grow in our hearts, but may also grow in our lives as well?